one of my students were coming through the Powerhouse Man training. I've actually been working with him for several years now. We actually were solved the issue that he came for, which was webcam girls. He's out of that world, and he's been out of that world for some time, but now we're working on his leadership skills as he builds up his business and essentially is working towards his financial freedom. He's like, yeah, I got this Nofap thing. That's easy. He started watching videos online. He's like, I'm going to do this, right? I want to get rid of some of my negative habits around my S3X energy. And then it's when he stopped trying to do it, he's like, oh my goodness, this is harder than I thought. Why is this so hard to stop? Well, I'm going to share with you in this video why it's so hard to actually practice Nofap and be successful at it. And more importantly, I'm going to give you tips on how you can become successful so that you can experience all the benefits that Nofap has to offer. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Nakula Das, and I help men master their S3X energy so they can become powerhouses both in and outside the bedroom and ultimately unleash your conscious masculine leadership. You're a man. You're designed to lead, to protect, to produce, to provide, to be a provocateur, to be powerful. Those are the 5 P's of masculinity, and you can learn more about those 5 P's, by the way, inside of the free transmutation guide. The link is in the description below, along with my calendar, because if you're like, man, I really need help stopping, which most of us do, I know I did, book some time with me, all right? Let's get into this video. So why is it so hard to stop? Because it is a hormonal response. Essentially, when you start fapping, you create an association. So your mind builds libraries of association. So let's do an exercise. All right, I'm going to say a word, and then you in the comments type the first thing that comes to mind. All right? Mexico. I know, I just heard some Trump fans going, build a wall. Some people were like, soccer. Some people were like, beach. Some people were like, tacos. All right? Whatever came to mind, it doesn't matter. Maybe you had several things come to mind. All right? Here's the deal. When you say a word, and I could have said any word. I could have said tacos. I could have said food. It doesn't matter. Right? I could have said vehicle. You'll notice that whatever word I say, your mind will associate something else with it. So the mind has a few different functions. One of the functions of the mind is measurement. You'll notice that the mind is always measuring how much money, not enough money, too much money, how much time, I don't have enough time, I need more time. It's always measuring something, measuring. It's a measurement tool. One of the functions of the mind is labeling. Good, bad, right, wrong, I like, I don't like. It's judging, labeling, judging. And another function of the mind is association. It's trying to know something. It's trying to figure it out. So it's like, you said Mexico. What do we know about Mexico? Oh, we know immigration issues. We know great food. I love Mexican food, by the way. Right? I've been to Mexico a few times. Absolutely fantastic. We know this. Whatever the world has told you about Mexico, or if you're Mexican, then whatever you know about your own nation. So the mind is constantly doing this. These are the functions of the mind. So it's neither good nor bad, right nor wrong. But we have to understand how the mind works so that we can understand, first of all, how to be successful in Nofap. Because ultimately, if you cut it at the mind, you will cut the physical activity. The physical follows the mind. The body follows the mind. So think about it. When you are tempted to do something, you're tempted to fap, it's not the body that's tempted, it's the mind that's tempted. You see, a hot girl on Instagram, and you're like, ooh. So that's... In yoga, they call it the sense object. The something has come into your awareness through the eyes, in this case. Ooh, look at her. Girl at the gym. Girl on Instagram. Ooh, she's hot. Then the mind begins to contemplate the object of the senses. I wonder what that would be like. And then it starts to make associations. She kind of looks like this girl I saw in that video doing that thing that I really like, blah, 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 blah. And you could see all of a sudden the mind is now down this rabbit hole of like a chain of links and thoughts. And you could spend 10 hours now going on and on and on about the potentials of the mind. And when you allow the mind to contemplate the object long enough and you give it enough attention, especially if you start to talk about it, now you're giving it power through speech and outward vibration. Now you're starting to act upon it. And then eventually the hands are in the pants and you are losing the nofap journey. So we have to recognize that the mind is building this library of association. What we need to do, what you need to do, is start to associate your S3X energy with a whole different association, meaning you have to build a new relationship with your S3X energy. You get aroused. When I get aroused now, I'm like, great, now it's time to create, because S3X is creative energy. It's creative force. That's what's explained in Think and Grow Rich in chapter 11, when Napoleon Hill talks about the secrets of S3X transmutation. He's like, this is creative power and force. So yes, it can be used in a physical way, but it can be used in a creative way. It's the secret behind geniuses and leaders and powerful sermons, and it's creative power. So when you're creating, you're essentially using your S3X energy. Whether you're building your body in your bodybuilding, or you're working out, or you're in your athletics, or your business, or your art. It doesn't matter what it is you're creating. When you're creating, you're essentially using your creative energy, which is your S3X energy. And it's also a spiritual energy. It has a spiritual potency to it. It's attractive. And it can expand consciousness. It can expand and bring you closer to God when it's transferred from a lust into love, into service, into selflessness. So as you begin to build these new associations, and your mind begins to rearrange how it associates that energy, your physical expression of that energy will begin to change. You may find yourself praying more. You may find yourself meditating more. You may find yourself exploring more spiritual concepts. You may find yourself wanting to work more on your business and in your finances. You may find yourself wanting to be more intimate, but not necessarily in a physical way, but in an emotional and mental way. You may find yourself in a physical way wanting to express your S3X energy, but with a real person, never on a screen or by yourself, but in your relationship. And even the quality of that changes from, hey, I just want to get off, to, hey, I want to be close to you. I want to bond with you. Because we can use S3X to bring intimacy and closeness. Once our mind has built those associations, it's why it's so hard to quit. Then there's a hormonal response to it. You're releasing a ton of dopamine. And the more dopamine that is released into the system, the more you want to do it. And the more that you do it, the more that habit gets reinforced. And it becomes a strong neural pathway in the brain. It has a strong neurological response. And because of this, it becomes like an addiction. It becomes hard to quit. So how do you quit? Well, first of all, you have to recognize what's going on. And that's what I'm sharing with you, at least at a basic level, of what's going on inside of you. And all you need to know is the basics. Okay, I've built an association that when I get aroused, that essentially I turn to adult content, or I put my hands down my pants. We have to start to rearrange that association to have new expressions. And that's why in my Powerhouse Man training, the pillar 1 is creating a vision, because what you need to know is, where would I like to put this energy? Into my health, into my relationship with God, into my finances, my business, my leadership skills. What do you want to create in your life? You have to get clear on that. Once you're clear on that, then we can have a place to actually put that energy into a positive way. We can start to create positive associations. And that's individual to you, right? What is it that you want to create? And if you don't know, that's the first step. You got to get clear on who you want to become, who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have in this life. Once you start to create those associations, which is a process, to go down, then you want to start to actually learn to channel that energy in a new way. And by channeling that energy in a new way, bringing that energy up through the heart and through the mind, you begin to reinvigorate and rejuvenate your body. You begin to develop new neural pathways around your S3X energy. And those new neural pathways will start to hit those dopamine spikes, or get that dopamine, but in a positive way. And once you've done that enough, you'll eventually recognize that it will be more painful for you to put your hands down your pants. You won't even want to do it. The key is not to focus on what you're quitting, but to focus on what you're creating. The more you focus on what you're creating, then naturally anything that goes against that will eventually become tasteless to you. it will just won't be attractive anymore. You'll be like, I'm not gonna. I remember the last time I tried to wank it, I literally put my hand down my pants, start to give it the old 1-2. And then I was just like, what am I doing? I don't even want to do this. This is just an impulsive action I'm doing right now. And I just moved on. And that was it. It was like, I'm done with this. It wasn't a big deal. It was just one day I'm like, I'm just done with this. And you could do that with all your vices. Eventually, letting them go one at a time. Boom, boom. They begin to fall off you. They just begin to drop off. It's like, I'm done with that. It's like shedding, like a snake shedding its skin. I've just outgrown that habit. The reason it's so hard to practice Nofap is because you actually haven't outgrown the habit. So white knuckling it was what I call it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. You see, the habit is so engraved into your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is so much more powerful than the conscious mind that eventually you'll lose. Eventually you'll relapse. Eventually you'll do it. You have to actually rewire your own subconscious mind. That's the real secret. And that means outgrowing the habit. Becoming such a man, such a being that you wouldn't even want to do it. Now you've truly outgrown it. So if you want to quit and you're serious about it and you know how it's holding you back in your life, then make sure, first of all, go take the free 30-day challenge. That's a great starting point. You get 30 videos, worksheet, accountability tracker, and access to my student group. You've got 40 days to complete the challenge. And we're having a ton of success from the guys coming through the program. If you want to take it to the next level and you work with me on your leadership skills, your vision, become a great communicator, learn to transmute your energy through the process of alchemy, then make sure you book some time on my schedule. Let's connect. We'll have a conversation, make sure we're a right fit. And if we're a right fit, we'll talk about how to get involved in those larger programs. So you got a couple options. Take action. No matter what you do, don't just let this be a video that you just watch and be like, great, now I'm just going to watch another video on Nofap. Okay? You can watch a million videos on Nofap, and it's great because that's helping you rearrange that pattern. So that's a good thing. But ultimately, you're not going to get the result until you rewire your brain, and that's going to require you taking action. And often it's going to require you taking uncomfortable action. So you may be like, man, I really want to talk to him, but I'm scared. That's a good sign that you should go book a call with me. All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you being here. Hit the bell so you never miss a video. I will see you on the next video. Love you.